everybody. Welcome to the Bro Stop Yelling podcast. My name is Ammo. I'm your host, and we're going to go around the room, introduce ourselves. So, Dre, why don't you tell the people who you're about?
Yo. It's Dre. What up, y'all? Fly Eagles Fly. I'm an Eagles fan. Uh, can't wait to get into some of these topics that we got going on today.
All right, Kenny.
I'm Kenny. What's up? We keep pounding. Carolina Panthers 0-6. I ain't got much to be happy about, but I'm happy to be here.
All right, and Ant.
Yo, the name is Anthony. At Asusa203. Follow me. Eagles fan. Jalen Hurts, #1, baby.
Bird Gang.
Deebo. All right. Anyway, let's start this thing off here. We have some news that we're going to start the episode off with.
Somber.
Great
Anthony
intro.
Richardson. Number 4 overall pick by the Colts this year. Supposed to be the franchise guy. Looked like he was going to be that part. Started to really come into his own. Rushing attack was mainly what he was doing, but the last game I saw, he made a couple throws that I was like, okay, those are NFL big boy throws. And I was like, okay. And then, of course, he gets hurt. They thought maybe he'd be out 4 to 6 weeks, take a little IR stint, but they're going to opt for surgery and just call it a day, and they're going to ride with Uncle Rico at quarterback. So that was unfortunate to see. You know, anything that makes it easier for the Jaguars to get to the playoffs is always beneficial. I never want it to be injuries, so I really wish we could have seen what the kid could do in a full year. But yeah, that's unfortunate. But he'll be back next year, and he can show everybody what he's about. So then we'll move on in to our upsets of the week. And Dre, you're going to start us off talking about some of these upsets that we had, like the Browns and 49ers game, for example.
Yeah, no, it was definitely a tough week for some of the brass of the NFL. We had the two big dogs in the NFC, the Eagles and Niners, both catching L's. We also had the Bills who snuck by with a win. Controversial, no call at the end for the pass interference. Say what you want there. They had just called the pass interference, the play just before it. So maybe they wanted to let them play a little bit. But either way, a tough week for some of NFL's top teams. My key takeaways, right? I look at it, is it a bad sign or just a bad game? I think for the Niners, I think that was really just a bad game, right? They went up against the Browns, who I think statistically have the best defense in the league this year. I really saw some grit out of that team. They took some injuries to key players, and McCaffrey, Deebo going down. I know Trent Williams was also hobbled. And they just missed a field goal at the end. So I think they'll rebound pretty nicely. The Eagles, I think that was really a disappointing loss. No reason going in that they should have lost that game. So, and the team really hasn't looked itself really compared to what we've seen and come to know of them last year. So, a little concerned going into the rest of the season and how that performance was. And then the Bills, again, the Bills are up and down. That's just kind of who they are. But I think they'll rebound nicely and show us, next week why they're a top team in the AFC.
All right. Kenny, what do you have to say about these upsets?
I mean, how could you argue with what Dre said? I mean, honestly, it was perfect points. I think just to kind of piggyback a little off of that, I think this is going to be a wake-up call to Philly. I think Philadelphia wakes up after this. I think you're going to see a lot more resemblance of the team you saw last year. I think it shows almost an Achilles heel to the 49ers, even though injuries I know did take a part of it, but it shows that it's showing weaknesses of like what you think is almost an impenetrable team, like all around the ball. So it's like, I think this actually shows the league a little bit more about the Niners and the Bills. Like Dre said, I think that was kind of like their fluke. I think it's like they still came out with the win, but I think they're going to stay who the Bills are, consistent.
And upsets of the week, what thoughts do you have on it?
I mean, as an Eagle fan, it was rough. Obviously, having the Jets beat us. But after beating them 12 times straight in the entirety of, back to whenever the year that they actually started counting this, or, I don't know if it was when we were created or the Jets or whatever, or the Super Bowl era, but all I know is 12-0. It's hard to go 13-0. It's hard to go anything in 0. So eventually we were going to lose, but it did suck because of the way we lost. We were up pretty much the whole game. Even though the offense wasn't looking good, we were still dominating on defense as much as we were hurt in the back end. We weren't really allowing big plays. We weren't really allowing. Obviously, Zach Wilson is also limited, but really until some fluke interceptions, and then that last interception on that second to last drive for us, and then we let them score. That was obviously the nail in the coffin, so that was tough. But I think it is going to be a wake-up call. I think that they finally wake up and say, hey, you know what? I don't know if you guys saw the article, but they were all in there talking without the coaches, and we're just saying that, this is like a wake-up call. Like this is kind of what we needed. We were squeaking by with the wins, and you don't really learn from those as much as you learn from this loss. So I think it's going to be good. I think San Francisco got exposed. I think the injuries are kind of just the story. It's kind of like the Chargers. I think every year those teams are just plagued with injuries. And the Ravens, I think, is just a thing now. It's weird. It's just a thing. And not having Deebo and CMC is huge. So Purdy looked human. He didn't look like robot Purdy. Or bot Purdy is what they're calling him. He didn't look like that. So, yeah.
All right, so these upsets. I'm going to agree with you. I think the 49ers were exposed a little bit. And that's not to discredit the Browns, because the Browns have the best defense in the league this year. And they are absolutely dominant so far.
That defense hunts, boy. Like,
yep.
They after it for real.
So I don't want to discredit that defense whatsoever, but you got PJ Walker come in and able to beat the number one team in the league. A lot of people are saying, like, the best team out here, the one that's dominating all these games.
Hey, PJ,
I think that's
shout out PJ Walker. Fuck it. Shout out PJ. Somebody's getting a win in this bitch.
No, but hey, in all seriousness, right? That's credit to like the philosophy that you can have a well-built team and just put a quarterback back there that's not gonna fuck it up, right? Just somebody to manage the game and really just not turn the ball over, move the ball. Like, that's all the Browns did, and it got them to win.
Yeah.
And then we talked about like that Bills-Giants game. Man, that probably had enough to be called a second time there. I mean, he definitely impeded on his ability to make that catch. Probably should have given him another opportunity to go for that, but I get it. You just made the call right before. You do it again, everybody's going to complain. The narrative will be, oh my God, you just kept throwing flags, giving them opportunities to make it happen. But I really, 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 really wanted the Bills to lose, because I was so sick of hearing all of the Bills fans all week crying in my mentions and crying on Twitter about they had such an unfair advantage playing the Jaguars in London, who were there a couple days before they were, and this, that, and the other thing. Dude, I was sick of it. And I tweeted something out when the Bills were, losing and looked like they were probably going to lose. I had said, I guess that jet lag is still getting them or some shit like that. I was just so sick of hearing all these.
Yo, don't have Bills Mafia at your front door now.
I don't care, bro.
Show up.
They're going to DDT you through a table.
Well, what I will say though,
they are
like the Dudley Boys, dude.
They are soft.
The only last point I'll make about that play, that pass interference non-call, is Darren Waller's got to make that catch, man. Like, he came in to be the difference maker. Like, he got to make
he did get that one arm up, and where the hole came, he held that left arm down just enough so he couldn't get the two hands on the ball. And that's why I think it was probably enough to make the call. If you actually go back, like you'll look, it kind of held that left arm down from him making, a two-handed catch, which definitely he would have had it. But fuck it. Nobody cares about the Giants. They suck, and they're going to keep losing. Eagles, Jets. Now, this is not going to be disrespectful, but I think that the Eagles have not been playing the way that they played last year, but they are winning.
Of course.
And that's important. If you can win ugly, like I've said it before here, like if you can win ugly, that's more important than winning blowouts, because winning ugly is what matters when you get down to the playoffs, and that's going to be
Two
the
new
teams that make
coordinators.
it. Yep. So the Eagles have not been playing anywhere close to the level that they were playing last year. Jalen Hurts specifically is not playing at the level that he was playing at. He's not, in that MVP conversation like he was last year, which, he would have been second place last year, only to Mahomes. So I think that the Eagles were due for a loss like this because they have been winning those games and they've been winning ugly. It was time that they got an ugly loss. And I think, like Kenny said, that's going to be the spark that puts them right back on track. They needed that, little bit of humbling or whatever it was, with, not that they were getting cocky, but that's how they call those types of games. I think that they needed that, and that's definitely going to be the spark. And I think Jalen Hurts is going to specifically start balling like he did last year.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think he has 7 touchdowns, 7 picks. He didn't even have 7 picks in the entire season last year.
Yep.
So,
2 more picks than he had all of last year.
Like,
so that's
one more, yeah.
Yeah.
But hey,
So,
again, losing both coordinators, there's going to be growing pains. Is going to be adjustment.
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely. Like I said, I think that's what sparks them to put them back on track. Because, bro, you got 5 wins in games that you probably should have maybe ended up 3-2. So
that could be what the
for
players
y'all
were
to be able
about.
to do that.
Like, you got the different coordinators this year, but it's like, look, it's us. Like, we're out there.
Because a lot of other teams that are going to end up making the playoffs down the road are starting 2-3, where you guys started 5-0 despite the struggles. Like, other teams are
and not for
struggling and getting
nothing,
losses.
having this hiccup against the Jets and then going into the Dolphins game, had we won the Jets game going into this game, I would have been a little bit more nervous. But I feel like the boys will be ready to go and ready to prove a point going into this Miami Dolphins game, which that's going to be really a true test of where we're at.
Yep. All right. So we're talking about these upsets and these good teams. How about a good team that's not losing? The Lions.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Detroit, what up, though?
What
Shout
up,
out to the
though?
313, the Motor City, huh?
And tell us about Mom Spaghetti's team.
Oh my goodness. Well, honestly, for them doing as good as they're doing, I feel like they could even be doing better if it wasn't for certain things that they've done recently. You know what I mean? I mean, they got rid of DeAndre Swift. They drafted Jahmyr Gibbs in the first round. Jameson Williams, being suspended for a long time. Who could they have drafted with those spots instead of drafting, keeping Swift and not you know what I mean? Like, there's so many different things that the Lions could have done differently to even have a better squad than they're having out there right now. But they are 5-1, and right now, if you look in the NFL's league ranking, they are actually number 1 in the ranking. So it's kind of weird to see the Detroit Lions there, but all respect to them, man. Good quarterback, good run game. Montgomery's balling. Wide receivers are balling. Amon-Ra St. Brown is balling. Defense is good. And if they had CJ2K, or not CJ2K, sorry, CJ Gardner Johnson, oh my God.
Dude went
Bro,
back
I
to
don't know where
2009.
that came from. My bad. I don't know where that came from.
DTE's acting up, dude.
Shouts to Chris Johnson, yo.
Yo, shout out to him. But my bad. CJ Gardner Johnson. If they still had him back there, I think that team would be even that much better. But nah, falling.
All right, Kenny.
I was
Lions,
just looking over their stats as well. I mean, they're looking good. Obviously, it's I mean, Amon St. Brown is always on. I mean, I was looking at their receiving numbers. They have 3 receivers over 300 yards. I mean, the ball's getting spread around, but they're doing it collectively as a team. It's one unit. It's like, I mean, you look at the names on paper. Like, I mean, Philly was saying, it's like you got Gibbs there, so of course your mind just goes, who could they have had in this place? I think he's going to start to show out soon. Honestly, Montgomery, as a Panther fan, playing with him, like against him, like in Chicago, so many times, it's like, he has the talent to do it, to get it done. But it's like, you look at the roster on paper, it's like a couple of years ago, these names were a little bigger. So it's just nice to see, like, not really a resurgence, but just how they're able to be cohesive as a full team. And then it is like our Tyreek Hills, like, like your game changers just on one side of the ball. It's a good sight to see this team like doing really well. So, but really, really weird to see Detroit Lions at the top of the leaderboards, or top of the standings.
All right. Do you think that they are contenders or pretenders?
I think at the end of the day, pretenders. I think, in short, I think at the end of the day, pretenders.
So you're saying that these rankings that have the Lions as the number 1 team, you don't agree with them being the number 1 team?
That may be the case right now. I think when it comes to playoff ball, it's always a different thing. It's a different season.
Okay.
But not to say that they haven't. Some of them have been there before, but I think it's it's a hell of a bad news Bears team, but I think they don't. It doesn't take them to the promised land. Not this season, anyway. That's I think another name on the trophy. Another name on the trophy this year.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence. And Dre, what do you think about the Lions so far this year?
I mean, for me with the Lions, I definitely have mixed feelings, right? Because I'm really excited to see this team because they've been kind of a team that's been on the rise for the last couple of years. And like this year, they're really putting it together, stringing together wins, and they look good. They're an exciting team doing it. And I only say it's bittersweet because they're in the NFC and they're a legitimate threat in the NFC. But it's hard not to root for this team, starting with the coach, gouging eyeballs and biting kneecaps all the way to the top. You remember that? But
Love it.
Dude is a real players coach, and you could really see how the team plays for him and plays for each other. Like, I know y'all saw that block, was it Raymond threw for Amon-Ra to get into the end zone, like, and then saw them celebrating together on the sideline. Like, that's all those things that you really see in a winning team and a great situation. And I also think it's about time that we really start talking about Jared Goff. Yes, Jared Goff in the MVP conversation.
That was the question I was going to have for you. I asked him if they're contenders or pretenders. I'm going to say, Dre, do you think that he's all right?
This dude, Jared Goff, man, is playing as good as anybody right now. And he might be the best play action passer in the league right now because everybody knows he's going to do it. They do it 40 times a game. And he still fools and freezes the defense. So, and he's making good reads, accurate throws, some big boy throws. Like whatever's going on up there is definitely clicking. The Lions are, like I said, they're legitimate. I do see them falling short in the playoffs, and the only reason I say that is this: it's the other teams at the top of the NFC have been there before. They've been through that adversity. The Lions are new to this, where the other teams are true to this, right? Like they've been through the mud, right? So I think this will be a wake-up call. And really, in the NFL, you have to go through pain sometimes to really get to where you want. So I see a devastating loss for the Lions that's only going to make them stronger moving forward.
Creates the chip on the shoulder.
Yeah.
I can't wait for the Lions to beat the Cowboys in the first round of the playoffs. It's going to be so sick.
Yeah, so for the Lions, I think you definitely got to have Jared Goff up there in that MVP conversation so far. Like, we're 6 weeks into the season now. He's done it enough to keep himself a part of that conversation. I don't know that he is the MVP, but he definitely should be discussed as such right now. I I definitely think the Lions should be considered in that top 3 of the NFC, up there with the Eagles and the Niners. I think they replaced the Cowboys from last year, as those were the top 3 teams in the NFC last year. I think the Lions have firmly taken that. I do agree with the rest of you guys thinking that they do take a tough loss in the playoffs. I don't think that they're built for that deep playoff run yet. I do think they make the playoffs and they have one of the higher seeds. And I think that they probably win that wild card weekend, but the divisional round is where I think they're going to take that loss. So I'm in agreement with pretty much what you guys are saying there. But they're definitely a really exciting team. I know I picked them to win the division this year. They're doing better than I thought they would so far. I think we will see like a little bit of a regression. I don't think they're going to go, 14-3, but
well, of course not.
Yeah, no, they're definitely going to be probably the 2nd or 3rd seed in the NFC come playoff time. So then we will move on talking about exciting stuff. There's not really a guy that's more exciting this year than our man Tyreek Hill.
Cheetah.
Exciting MVP candidate.
Absolutely.
Grab another beer.
Dre, you're gonna start us off, and you're gonna tell us what you're thinking about Tyreek Hill's season so far. He's on pace for 2,300 yards. He said before the season he's going to be the first 2K receiver in NFL history, and he needs less than 200 yards to hit 1,000 for the season so far. And if he does that in the next 2 games, he's still on pace for over 2K for the year. So
and
Drake,
he's playing
tell
the
us what
Eagles next. That's going to be an easy.
Yeah, no, listen, man.
200.
Like Tyreek Hill is having an historically great season. Fun to watch. He's one of those players that literally keeps defensive coordinators and DBs up at night. Phenomenal player. He's really good at football, right? And it's not just that he's fast. His, route running, clean out his breaks, way he locates the football, way he wins, jump balls and things like that. Phenomenal. I don't really see him slowing down in terms of production. I think, in that offense, they're always going to find creative ways for him to get the ball. They decoy him sometimes to throw the defense off. But the only thing I will say is he came up a little gimpy at points in that game with the hamstring, I believe it was. So the health overall is really the only thing that I would see that could slow him down. Because otherwise, this dude is just an absolute beast on the field, and no team or scheme, I don't think could slow him down.
Do you think that Tyreek Hill has a legitimate chance to win the MVP this year?
If a receiver is going to win the MVP, he has to do some shit we've never seen done before, and he's on pace to do it.
So if he breaks 2K, do you think he gets it?
Yes. Especially because there's no quarterback that's really tearing it up right now. I think it opens the door for a non-quarterback this year to win the MVP.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's separated themselves in the quarterback. Like, there's people that are playing at MVP levels as quarterback, but there's not enough separation between any one of them for us to say that is the front runner. So, like I said, I think when we did the quarter season, I said Christian McCaffrey was the quarter season MVP so far. Tyreek Hill would have definitely been in my top 5 at that point, but I think at this point, Tyreek Hill is the MVP.
Right. And Tua was my quarter season MVP. Maybe I should have gave it to Tyreek at that point.
They're like you said, man, they absolutely are finding really creative ways to get him the ball, whether it's traditional running routes, it's doing speed motion. There's a lot of different ways that they're getting him the ball that they weren't even doing when he was in Kansas City. So Kenny, why don't you tell us about Tyreek Hill? And like I said before you left like a piece of shit, he's on pace for 2,300 yards. He said he'd be the first 2K receiver, and he needs less than 200 to hit 1,000. So
I got to see him up close and personal. He's the real deal. I mean, obviously it was a 40-yard pass that was. I mean, it was just just fucking run, man. Like that's. I mean, he got Dante. I mean, Dante's fast, but he got burned. I mean, heavy. Should have had a safety over the top, but I mean, foot by foot, Dante's fast as fuck and burnt him.
I don't understand why teams continue to play this dude press man. Why?
No, I'm going to tell you right now. If my coach tells me to go play press man on Tyreek Hill, I'm be like, all right, dude, I'm Vontae Davis. I'm retiring right now. Here's my cleats. I'm going home at halftime. I'm not doing this. There's no way.
Specifically, and then the game I was at, we were fucking sagging off of Michael Thomas 10, 11 yards. Like, press maybe him, someone that does slants, cover. No, we're going to get 3 yards on and then just let him run by. You're just
doing the opposite of what you should be doing. So completely. You're tanking for Caleb Williams when you can't even get Caleb Williams. All right.
When we should have weaved all the way. Yeah. No, I mean.
So I asked Dre while you were gone, do you think Tyreek Hill, because you kind of said it, do you think he has a legitimate chance at the MVP?
I mean, of course. He's doing things. I mean, especially if he continues this way, if he breaks any of those records, oh my god, yeah. I mean, how can you not? He's doing something that we've never seen. When I know it's an offensive league now and it's growing there, but I mean, he's doing things in that league that haven't been done before. So he's eclipsing whatever like ceiling he had put on him at some point. I think, it does a lot to say, speed kills. That it just goes to show, and you can be 5'2" and literally be the scariest player on the field once you're on it. Like that's a powerful, that's a powerful statement. I mean, yeah. Do I really think he could be? Yes. Heavily. Yes. Like top 3 if they finish out 1, 2. Maybe even pushing third. That's probably pushing it, but first or second in AFC, I don't see a hard argument, especially if. But they're dangerous. That's a dangerous team. I don't see him slowing down either.
And you're gonna finish this segment off. What do you think about Tyreek Hill so far this year? And if he has got a legitimate chance to win that MVP?
I 100% think he has a chance to win the MVP. I think the last time we saw a player besides a quarterback win the MVP, if I'm not mistaken, was Adrian Peterson. He eclipsed 2,000 yards rushing, and this guy will eclipse 2,000 yards receiving as long as he stays healthy. He's 186 yards away from 1,000, and the Eagles defense, he might just get that Sunday. No lie. And then all of a sudden, he has got a whole 10 to 11 games to go ahead and get another 1,000. I think it's very, very feasible. Yeah. And as an Eagle fan, yes, I know it sucks, but guess what? One thing I do know as a reality, we allow everyone's career day. We just allowed. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I just had it, and I drove. Oh, Cooper Kupp just went sick on us. First game back, right? And this guy was in mid-season form against our defense. I think it was 8 catches, 120 yards or something like that. He was going sick, and that's kind of what we do. And I hope it's not the case, but just going off history, that's what I'm anticipating. He breaks the 1,000 yard mark this week, Sunday night, unfortunately in Philly. But he legit has a chance to get it because I think Dre said it, and I think Kenny said it actually. No quarterback has distanced themselves. Nobody is looking hot in any way, shape, or form as the number 1 quarterback to win that MVP vote right now. Usually by week 6 or 7, you're like, oh my God, Patrick's got 20 touchdowns. He's got 2 picks. He's on pace for. Nobody's doing really great. For all the top quarterbacks and all the hate that Jalen Hurts has been getting, and some of these other quarterbacks, I think we should all pump the brakes and just realize, hey, maybe these defenses are just that good this year, because realistically, no quarterback is having a great year. But I think to answer your question, Tyreek has a great chance to win it. And to segue that into our next topic, that is the reason why in the upcoming Olympic flag draft football league that is about to happen, one of the most, I guess, the most popular player right now in the NFL that is advocating to set up a team is Tyreek Hill. And we're all planning to do a draft here, and I'm going to start off because I have pick number 1, and my number 1 pick is Tyreek Hill.
All right. So the draft order for this Olympic flag draft, as we said, Ant's got the number 1 pick. He's taking Tyreek Hill. We're going to move on to Dre, Kenny, and then I will finish off with the 4th pick, and it's going to be a snake draft. So we're going to alternate the draft order every other round. Dre, you are on the clock for 30 seconds.
Tyreek Hill with an anticlimactic pick. So with the number 2 overall pick in the Olympic 5v5 flag league, I will pick Christian McCaffrey.
Oh, nice. Good pick.
All right. Kenny, 30 seconds on the clock.
With the 3rd pick, Race Hill Praise Dale. The 3rd pick, I'm going Mr. Lamar. I'm going Lamar Jackson.
Bastard.
Oh my God!
Fuck!
Hey.
That was my
on everybody's
pick,
board,
man.
I
That was my pick, man.
Jeez.
How could you have me?
All right.
That's-
I got
that's-
basically a
that's-
minute on the clock here.
Nicholas 7 cheat code.
No, you have 30 seconds.
I have 2 back-to-back picks, my friend.
Oh, touche.
All right.
It's 30 seconds. No, keep him to that shit. He's going to take
Keep
45
going.
seconds to pick 2 of them. Fuck him. No, you take 30 seconds. You get 1.
I'm gonna take
If
my
the
sweet
card
ass time
is
now.
on the stage at 31 seconds,
Listen
it's
here.
gone.
Listen, dude.
The
You need to
delay right now
relax.
is crazy.
Is there a delay? Or you just
Yeah, no,
Oh.
you slacking on
your
picking.
delay.
Hurry up.
Yeah, well, all right, dude. Relax. Pat Mahomes is gonna be my pick. Okay.
Jesus.
I'm gonna have
okay.
I'm gonna have a QB as well. And let's see. What are we gonna go with here? Ooh, that's tough. I'm gonna go with Justin Jefferson.
Jay Jettas.
Right, that means that Kenny's gonna be back on the clock for 30 seconds.
Let's go.
Who are you gonna pair with Lamar?
I'm going to go with Jalen Ramsey.
Okay. Jalen Ramsey.
What's a good
Play some-
backyard league without a little bit of trash talk? You know, I mean,
That's an elite
perfect
trash
mind
talker.
game.
So
Dre's
real
on the
quick,
clock for 30 seconds.
So injury status currently in this season doesn't matter.
Are they?
All right, we'll pause
You
the
mean,
clock.
current-
This Olympic doesn't happen till 2028, so it's not happening today. Any active NFL player, if they're healthy. Okay.
Copy.
Oh, okay.
Dre, you
Presumably.
got 30 seconds on the clock.
All right. Well, I thought Lamar would be available for me at this point.
Same.
And I was wrong. So I have to weave a little bit here. So
Transition.
I am going to select Bijan Robinson.
Okay.
Bring back
Alright.
NFL Street just strictly to
Very
be able
smart.
to play with Bijan.
And you got essentially a minute on the clock to make 2 picks here.
All right. Well, I think the smart pick right here, multi-dimensional player.
5
I'm going to go
seconds.
Deebo Samuel.
All right.
All
Your
right.
last
And
30
now
seconds here.
y'all want to jump on the quarterbacks. So I'm going to solidify my quarterback and the next best one, Tua.
Oh, not where I thought that one was going.
Me
Okay.
either.
I
Wow.
thought that was Jalen for sure. All right. Trey. 30 seconds on the clock.
All right. So I think that I will. I was going to go quarterback here. But now I'm thinking I'm going to go a different position, and I'm going to select Trayvon Diggs.
Oh, damn it. Marking it off.
Yeah.
Good shit. Good
I'm
shit.
so tight.
Kenny.
I'm so
30
tight. Dre
seconds
had the
on the
same
clock.
mentality.
I'll toss it up and go get it. Give me Travis Kelce. Him and Lamar.
Okay.
I just assume these players aren't playing no defense.
Yeah, that's why I got Jalen.
Hey, he's got Jalen. So all right,
Cover up with Travis.
I got
he
30
blocks,
seconds
he
on.
blocks,
I got 30 seconds on the clock here for this one,
Yes.
and we are gonna take my man Sauce Gardner.
Piece of shit.
Ooh.
And now I'm gonna give myself another 30-second timer. Micah Parsons.
Ooh, you bastard.
Straight up.
Kenny, you're on the clock for 30 seconds.
Play two-way sides of the ball. Give me Miles Jack. Defense, linebacker, and running back.
No, you know what? I ain't even in the front. Miles Jack was a nasty running back.
I was going to say that man. He can produce though and run.
Bro, before I put the 30 seconds on the clock for the next pick, there was a game at UCLA where he had like a forced fumble, 8 tackles, and then had like 8 carries for 120 yards and a touchdown. Like, buddy had a day. So
crazy beast.
For versatility, I can't even hate. Dre, 30 seconds on the clock.
So I'm gonna go with. It's funny that you picked Miles Jack because I'm gonna go with the Miles that I thought you were gonna pick. Who was Miles Garrett?
Yes. Good, yeah. That was the other mile. I thought I just wrote it down Jack twice, but no, no. Yes, sir.
The first half of your minute is up on the clock.
The first half of
yeah, dude.
What? I just got it.
25 seconds.
Anyway.
Let's go.
I just got here.
What the hell? All right. So who was my second pick? Actually, I deleted it before I fucking wrote it back down. I have Tyreek Hill was my
this
first.
Guy is shot.
No, I deleted it, and I really can't remember.
Shovel?
Make a pick. You got. Make a pick.
For real.
No. I already told you, Deebo, you son of a bitch.
Deebo. No. I just wanted to make sure because
hurry up. You're eating
Swift
into your next 30 seconds.
DeAndre Swift is going to be my pick.
Oh my!
Swifty
God.
hustle.
And then my next pick is going to be Patrick Surtain.
And that's round 5, right?
Starting off round 5, moving to Dre. 30 seconds on the clock.
All right. So at this point, I think I'll get a quarterback. I will, and I'm going to go with Josh Allen.
Solid.
Kenny, on the clock for 30 seconds.
Let me go Jamar Chase.
All right, so I'm going to finish off the last of the starters here, and then we're going to go for one bonus round. Like I said, we're picking 1 6-man to come off the bench for our squad. So 30 seconds on the clock. I've got Mahomes, Justin Jefferson, Sauce, and Micah Parsons. Ooh,
Hold on. Can I interrupt for 1 second?
timer's paused.
All right. Before we make these picks, and everybody, we're picking 6 players. If you guys pick another wide receiver or another running back, and you do not have another DB, is that counting on anything? Are we picking the starting, like, we're just picking starting 5 offense, starting 5 defense? Like, we're not picking, like, two-way players. Like, if you have 7 wide receivers, no one's playing quarterback, obviously. You know what I mean? Like, that plays a part into the pick. I know that it's 12, but you guys understand what I'm talking about, right?
Whoever your 6th guy is coming off the bench.
Okay.
So I'm making my last pick for my starters.
Playing both sides of the ball, right? That was
everybody's playing both sides of the ball, and you have one
bench
random utility guy that could fill in for
yeah.
any one of your players.
Okay. All right. Bet. I just want to make sure.
Okay.
Timer's going back up. 30 seconds on the clock. Ooh, this is good. This is good. You know what? I need some more route running on my team. Give me Calvin Ridley. Give me Calvin Ridley.
Homer. Let's go.
Yep,
I like
I don't
it.
care. I need that route running, baby.
Keep my 2 boys on the list.
Yeah. All right, so 30 seconds on the clock for my 6th man.
It's Kenny, right?
No, it's me.
Oh.
So you were just talking about route running. Thought you just picked somebody.
Yeah, I have back-to-backs, you idiot.
Oh.
Anyone else want to, interrupt over here?
Clock's still going.
Yeah, I know. We're going to take A.J. Brown. That means we got Kenny on the clock for 30 seconds.
Brian Burns.
All right, Dre, you're on the clock for 30 seconds.
Damn.
Bro. Don't do it. Don't pick.
All right.
There's a plethora of NFL players to pick from, and I swear to God, he's going to pick the player I want.
No.
5 seconds.
All right.
Slay.
So I'm going to go with Fred Warner.
Oh my goodness!
Hell of it. Yeah.
Thank God.
And last pick of the draft, Mr. Irrelevant, coming off the bench. 30 seconds on the clock.
Devontae Adams.
Yo, I was thinking about Devontae too.
All right, so hold on. Let me write this out real quick. So on Ant's team, we got Tyreek Hill.
Deebo Samuel.
We have Deebo. We have Tua.
Surtain. DeAndre
Swift.
And Adams.
Dre's team, we have CMC. We have Bijan. We have Trayvon Diggs. We have Myles Garrett. We have Josh Allen. And coming off the bench, Fred Warner. Kenny's team, led by Lamar Jackson, Jalen Ramsey, Travis Kelce, Miles Jack,
the reach of the draft, but verse.
Jamar Chase and Brian Burns. And then I've got Mahomes, Jay Jettas, Sauce, Micah, Ridley, and A.J. Brown. So I'm going to put that up, and y'all are going to be able to find a way to vote for what team you think is
All
best
right.
out of
Hold
all
on.
those teams.
So I think I missed a couple. So Dre got CMC, Bijan, Trayvon, Miles Garrett, Josh Allen. I missed somebody.
Fred Warner.
That's it. Fred Warner. My bad. I just want to make sure I have everybody too. And then for Kenny, he was Jalen. Sorry, Jalen who?
Ramsey.
He's got Lamar,
Ramsey,
Jalen
that's
Ramsey, Travis Kelce, Miles Jack,
Lamar.
Jamar Chase, and Brian Burns.
Sorry, my bad. Lamar Jackson, Jalen Ramsey,
Lamar to Jamar.
Miles
Travis
Jack,
Kelce,
Travis Kelce. That's what I missed. My bad.
Chase, and Brian Burns.
Yep, I have the other ones. I missed a couple. Just want to make sure I have it too. And you got Mahomes, Jettas, Sauce, Parsons, Ridley, AJ.
Bro,
I
wish we could organize our teams together and put them on a field and see how that fucking works out.
Right?
Sweet.
Yeah, my team would scrape y'all.
All right, so that
Fly
is
rounds.
going to book our official
already know.
Olympic flag draft for the 2028 Olympic Games. So
I'm gonna just let y'all know. Nobody's guarding.
put it in the
Kill.
comments
Kill is
which
part of
team
all
that
y'all.
you think is the best team that was drafted. We're going to run it down one more time. Ant had Tyreek Hill, Deebo Samuel, Tua, Pat Surtain, DeAndre Swift, and Devontae Adams. Dre went with Christian McCaffrey, Bijan Robinson, Trayvon Diggs, Miles Garrett, Josh Allen, and Fred Warner. Kenny has Lamar, Jalen Ramsey, Travis Kelce, Miles Jack, Jamar Chase, Brian Burns. And then finally, I had Mahomes, Jay Jettas, Sauce, Micah Parsons, Calvin Ridley, and A.J. Brown. All right, and then moving on, we're going to talk about our teams. So let's start out here with the Panthers. Kenny, tell us about how this game went.
Well, my drinking has taken a turn. No, I mean 0-6. You know, you try to find your positivity. As you can see, we were feeding Thielen. He's doing things that I guess statistically you haven't seen since Steve Smith. He's and not as a Panther fan like Steve Smith, but putting up like 100-yard games, things like that. Like I forget what they said. They said they have had back-to-backs in 15 some odd years, which is surprising to me with DJ. But I mean, we went into this Miami game really not expecting much from it. At least myself, we walked away with losing Chin for 6 weeks. Not only is it bad, like on the field, but even the talks of like GM wise. So now I know they're back to, scurrying around doing whatever they're doing back there. On the field, Chuba, I mean, he's getting 4.5 yards a carry. He's doing better, I think, than Miles did when he was on the field. It just looks like he's finding the holes with the help he has. So I mean, that's a shining light. That's kind of a bright light with Thielen and Chuba, producing. I think with Bryce, he's made some good throws. Definitely shows some promise, but we have to allow him to actually start going through his progression, start throwing, start trusting himself a little bit more, which I think we're going to see out of the bye week. We get a decent run. I think it's the Texans and the Colts back to back, after each other. So it's going to be nice to see Thomas Brown actually taking over play calling. That's a big thing, big deal. We probably will walk out of one of those games with a win, which honestly, that should still be the motive. That should still be what we're going for. It's not like we can tank for a pick. There isn't a pick, so it's you got to burn the world and try to win out. Do whatever you can. Be as positive as you can, as optimistic as you can. Why go into it thinking you're going to lose? It's just going to be nice to see that first and second pick going against each other. But here we are, 0-6 going into the bye.
Basuda.
Yeah, it's a rough year.
And why don't you get us started talking about the old Eagles here?
Okay, everyone's going to hit the panic button. I'm not. I think it was a well-deserved speed bump. I think it was one of those speed bumps that you hit and you didn't. Boom! You're like, oh, what the hell was that? I think we needed that, and I'm glad it happened. A loss in the regular season is not the end of the world. Not getting the first spot in the playoffs is not the end of the world. To be honest, more one seeds have actually not made the Super Bowl than the rest of the other ones, 2 through 7 now. So not being the number one seed is not the end all be all. So I'm not really stressing it. I'm glad we lost. I'm glad it's going to be a smack in the face. It's all how we respond. Now, if we come out there Sunday and we roll another dud, I will be nervous. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to be sitting here telling you that after 2 straight losses and the 5 wins that we got that were kind of suspect, that I feel confident on the season 7 games in. But if we go in there and we handle business the way I think we're going to against Miami, I think we're back on track, and I think everyone's nervous button is lifted.
All right. Dre, do you have anything different to say? Anything new to talk about the Eagles here?
Yeah, I mean, when you reflect on last week's game, like Ant said, it's definitely a disappointment. But when I look at that game and really, break it down, there's definitely some takeaways. I think, obviously it was a loss in which we were winning for most of that game. And even though we were winning most of that game, I think we got way too pass happy. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on, especially when you consider that last year our identity was running the ball, both with Jalen and our committee of backs. And Ammo, I know you have the stats pulled up. So what was the percentage of run to pass plays that we had against the Jets?
You guys ran the ball 32% of the time in that game.
Yeah, and a game that we were winning most of the time, right? So and we always talk about the fact that we have the best O-line in football. Why aren't we putting that O-line to the assignment and running the ball more effectively? We have dynamic running backs. We have a committee of backs and that we're not really using. We're running Jalen way less. And the one thing about Jalen Hurts is he knows how to take care of his body and run the ball effectively. So that is definitely a cause for concern, along with the fact that I'm starting to notice that we tend to play to the level of our opponent, and we can't just run away with games. And that's a dangerous position to be in, because that's how you end up like the Vikings, right? Last year, they were in a bunch of close games and they won them. This year, they've been in a bunch of close games and they've lost them, right? So this, and football is way too, weird of a game where the ball could just bounce funny and end up wrong. And in a close game, it makes a difference when if you're up, if you're up multiple possessions, it might not matter as much. So I would just like to see us, start to put teams away that we should be beating more convincingly. But I also think that, like Ant kind of said, this is a wake up call. And I'm calling up Brian Johnson as well as the OC because Shane Steichen
Facts.
had Jalen Hurts in a position where he was playing MVP football. And now, so far through 6 games under Brian Johnson, he looks average at best.
Mediocre.
Yeah. So I definitely want to see what the two of them can do moving forward, and how we continue to improve offensively as the season goes on.
All right. Now let's get to the
Let's,
ammo and
finish off
the Jaguars.
All right. So
Basuda.
the only person here that gets to celebrate a victory this week, as the Panthers didn't do it, Eagles didn't do it, but Jacksonville came back from a 2-game road trip out in London, came back and took
2-game
care of
home
business in the division. One of those was a home game. One of them was an away game, but both of them were away from Jacksonville, so away games. Anyway, Jaguars. Excuse me?
Lack.
And London is like home number 2 for Jacksonville. Stop acting like that.
Yeah, but it's not though. It's not though, because if you look around that stadium, there's not any more Jaguars fans than there are any other fan base there. There were more Bills fans for the Jaguars.
Jacksonville has played the most abroad games out of
That's where they're getting moved to.
Yes, and they don't. Yeah, that move's not happening. Nobody is going to move to London. Not one team in the NFL will move to London. If there's a London team, it'll be an offshoot of the NFL. It won't be part of the 32. Yeah. So the Jaguars defense is playing at an extremely high level. They're number 1 in the league in takeaways. I think they have 15 so far through 6 games. The Colts have a very good rushing attack, and they got JT back, and Zach Moss has been killing it. So the Jaguars' whole idea was stop the run and let's dare the noodle arm to throw the ball 50 times a game so that we can come out of here with an easy win and get moving on to a short week. Center for the Colts came out in an interview after the game saying that the Jaguars stayed in base defense the entire game and just dared them to throw it. They thought that they were going to be able to run a couple little 5-yard plays to throw the Jaguars out of that defense to get them to back off a little bit to open things up. And the Jaguars were just stubborn and they just stayed in the same base front pretty much the entire game. That's really stubborn and really ballsy to do, because to not even really do a lot of subbing for nickel packages when you got 3 wide or you even got 4 wide, Jaguars didn't care. They just maintained the same personnel, and they ended up coming away with 3 interceptions on Minshew. He threw the ball 55 times. Not really what you want to do with a guy who does not have a very strong arm, because when you throw the ball 55 times in a game, your already weak arm starts to take and get fatigued. And that's when you start making or airmailing passes or underthrowing passes. And that definitely showed, because they got 3 takeaways that basically set up the game for the Jaguars to win that one. Offense still isn't really hit its stride yet. They're not playing the way that they were playing in the back 9 of last year. So I'm still waiting for that offensive explosion. I mean, ETN is scoring touchdowns 1 or 2 every game over the last couple of weeks. He's really just figuring that out for us. He scored 2 rushing touchdowns in I think like less than 10, 15 seconds. He had it on back-to-back plays in the game against the Colts. So I'm happy that we're getting these wins and the offense isn't even playing anywhere near the level that they could be playing at, because it means that once they do finally hit that stride, they will be a team to be reckoned with. But they're sitting at 4-2, sole leader on top of the division. So they're in a good place to be, kind of about where I thought they would be after the first 6 games. They got a short week this week against the Saints on Thursday night. Trevor's a little banged up, got a little knee sprain going on. So they maybe do a little precaution and have him sit out, but it would be an okay one to do it because it's a non-conference game. It's a short week. It's on the road. if there was ever a game to miss, it would be this one. But he hasn't missed a game yet in his career, so I think he's probably going to try to tough it out and keep that streak going. So I hope it's not a problem. It's a turf field, so I'm kind of just like, dude, sit him down. I don't want anything bad to happen, but that's that. If he doesn't play, I think it's going to be like a 17-14 type game, like not a lot of scoring at all. If he does not play, I'd definitely be slamming the under as quickly as you can. Even if he does play, probably will end up being a lot of a defensive matchup too. So
Yeah. Fun fact:
Definitely
the NFL is down
get your bets
across
in.
the entire league with scoring. There's more unders than there's ever been. Like not ever, but there's more unders than there's been in a long time. I didn't know what year it was, but it's the league is projected basically, let's just say 45 points, and teams are coming well underneath that.
I don't know the
Underneath that.
stats, but I'm a betting man, and I've been betting the
unders.
under every primetime game specifically. And I think I've cashed out almost every time. Maybe 2 weeks I
Yeah.
didn't, but the primetime
Yeah.
games have been under every single time.
Yeah, the under's been hitting this year.
And
It's crazy. So, quick, are we gonna end up doing the pick'ems, or are we gonna? All right, here we go.
Oh, also before
Start
you
us off.
move on, do you think that the team is like re-solidified their like faith in ETN? I mean, what are they? Remember, they were talking about like moving around and stuff. Even this
Jags
year,
are trading for Miles
early on,
Sanders.
like, shit, I would hope. No offense to Miles.
Miles Sanders is gonna make his
but
way
he's-
through this whole
He's
podcast.
gone.
Yep, there's Emma gone.
But for real,
He'll be back.
11. But for real, I had so much faith in Miles, man. I don't know what's going on with like his
Yeah,
productivity.
we had faith in him too. And 3 plays into the Super Bowl, he fumbled. Maybe even 2, or maybe even the first.
Don't ever say some stupid shit like the Jaguars are trading for Miles Sanders again. Okay.
Yo, bro, it's Miles Sanders for Trevor Lawrence, straight up.
Oh yeah, dude. Then let's get
Easy.
it done. I hope we get it done
Easy.
Oh,
before
Dotted
yeah,
line.
Thursday. Yeah.
Sanders is going to be running back and quarterback, and obviously
Yep.
he's going to be better than ETN and fucking Lawrence together.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna
28.
whoa.
Hey.
We're gonna move on. We're gonna move on to our
Dre said, I'm
pick'ems.
fucking out of here.
And
You left again?
Kenny,
What?
you're gonna start us off with your pick'ems.
Fuck you, Dre.
Nah, honestly, I was playing around with it. I didn't know what leave from stage, but
Oh,
That shit's fun though.
This dude walked backstage and said, "I don't know what happened."
oh. Where am
Kenny,
I?
let's go. Let's hear these
Go ahead.
picks.
Jags beat the Saints. Raiders take the Bears. Browns over the Colts. Bills take the Patriots. Giants, I have beating the Commanders. Bucks, I have beating the Falcons. Lions on the Ravens. Rams against Steelers. Seahawks, I think, are going to get it back from the Cardinals. Packers against Broncos. Chiefs, Chargers. Dolphins, I think they get the game. They get against the Eagles. I am sorry. 49ers.
Fuck
beat the
you,
Vikings.
Kenny.
I'm sorry.
dude is wrong most of the time. That's a good sign for us.
Hey, that's good. If anything, I was doing it for everybody. So it was just, hey,
Thank
I'm
you.
third. I'm
That means the
third.
Jags are going to lose.
We're not gonna talk about why.
I'm third. No.
Here we go. Wait, who's in
versus
fourth?
Minnesota, 28-14. Miami, Philadelphia, I got 35-28.
Fuck
Got
yeah.
Miami scoring the most and Chicago scoring the least.
Wait. You got 35-28 Dolphins over Eagles?
Mhm.
You piece of shit.
But I do.
Damn.
Well, I'm going next. All right. So, because I answered that
It's going to
question,
be very close.
what
He
the
just
hell?
treated you like a Maury.
It
Maury,
was a
not the
perfect
father.
lead up because I was going to go backwards and say I have opposite. I have Eagles winning 38-35.
Oh,
He
Yeah.
said 35-28 though. Not even the same
I thought-
score.
Bro.
Oh, I thought he said.
You know, the fucked up
Dolphins
part
wanna
is
be
he
next.
said the score that he said back to him and then proceeded to not match.
Say that same score.
You know what it was? I'm looking at 38-35, and I thought my mind just heard.
But you
30
said 28-35.
I did
You
say
know what it
28?
was?
My
You know
bad.
what it was? Dre, let's hear your pick'ems.
Yo, that's
Whoops.
fucking hilarious.
Okay, my bad.
One of you two fuckers got to go here.
Go ahead. He wanted to announce.
All right, so
his-
since me and Kenny had the opposite, no, I'm just kidding.
Since we had the
Um,
same score.
All right, so obviously since I heard that wrong, but whatever. All right, so I got the Jags over the Saints, Raiders over the Bears, Browns over the Colts, Bills over the Pats, Giants beating the Commanders, Falcons beating the Bucks, Ravens, Rams, Seahawks, Packers, Chiefs, Eagles, and I got 49ers. And then for the 49er Minnesota game, I got 28 28-7. And then for the Miami Philadelphia game, I got 35-38 Eagles winning.
Who's scoring the most?
Highest, I was going to say highest Kansas City, lowest Chicago.
Dre? What you got?
All right, so I got Jags over the Saints. I got Raiders over the Bears. I got Browns over the Colts. Bills over the Pats. I have Commanders over the Giants. I have the Bucks over the Falcons. Lions over the Ravens. Rams over the Steelers. Seahawks over the Cardinals. Packers over the Broncos. I got the Chiefs beating the Chargers, Eagles beating the Dolphins, Niners over Vikings. I have the Niners beating the Vikings 33-17. I have the Dolphins losing to Philly 31-34. I have Buffalo absolutely blowing the doors off the Patriots, and the Patriots putting up another low score for the week.
All right, and I will close this out for the pick'ems. I'm pretty
Yep, no
sure
one
that
cares.
the first four games everybody has the same: Jaguars, Raiders, Browns, and Bills. I'm
Yep,
with
gonna
Trey
switch it to the Saints.
with the Commanders. I got Bucks over Falcons. I have the Ravens upsetting the Lions. Rams over Steelers. Seahawks over the Cards, and I have the Broncos beating the Packers as my my upset out of the week. Chiefs over Chargers, Dolphins over the Eagles, Niners over the Vikings, 31-17 for the Niners over the Vikings, 34-28 Dolphins over the Eagles. Kansas City's going to score the most points, and the Patriots will score the least.
Y'all suck.
So for our pick'ems as of right now, Ant is in first place with a record of 60-33 so far this year. I'm in second place, 59-34. Then we have Kenny in third at 53-40. And then we have Dre bringing up the rear here with 49-44.
For the record, I did miss a week. Boneheaded move. It was fault though, because he threw me off from last week. I just needed to
You see
get
the
that off my
excuses? You
chest.
see the excuses?
It wasn't sitting right in my spirit the way he read out them records and just said bringing up the rear like he didn't know that I had just
Yeah,
missed a week.
but let's be
Yep.
real here, because
Tell
this
the
is
whole
really
story is all I'm saying.
okay. Well, now that we've told the whole story, it really just paints a terrible picture about Kenny, that Dre missed a whole week and he's only 4 points behind Kenny.
Hey, that
Yeah.
bronze, baby,
Yeah,
still
that's-
tastes the same.
Yeah, you're the guy on the stage, that meme that's
Yeah.
like, eating the
Yeah, man.
fucking
Hey.
metal like an idiot.
Hey, 0-6, dude. I'll take third. I'm right now. Like, I'll take a win. And that's
All
a
right,
third place
well,
is a win for me.
That's going to
Well-
wrap us up for this week for the Bro Stop Yelling podcast. Thank you for joining us for our first episode. Catch us next week.